Welcome to this recorded webinar on the delivery and assessment of the KS4 Technical Award for Vehicle Technology. My name is Paul Tunnicliffe and I'm the Automotive Technical Advisor. I'm also joined by my colleague Alison Whittle, who is Technical Advisor for Post 16 and Technical Awards. During this presentation, we will look at the Technical Award basic content, the support and resources that City and Guilds provide to its centres, some suggested delivery models, how the award is assessed, how to mark the synoptic assignment, how grading is carried out, and what this means for performance tables. And we'll round off with showing you how to access the materials to support your planning and delivery. The Level 2 Technical Award in Vehicle Technology from City and Guilds conforms to the requirements laid out by the DFE and is a Key Stage 4 qualification of 120 guided learning hours. It has 2 units that are mandatory and will be part of the assessment of the qualification. Although the primary purpose of the Key Stage 4 qualifications is to develop understanding of a particular industry, City and Guilds also includes practical activities to help embed the knowledge. The learning content for this qualification covers Unit 220 Underpinning Principles in Vehicle Technology and Unit 221 Vehicle Technology Systems. More about these later in the presentation. Okay, so having decided to use City and Guilds for this qualification, you will then need to register your learners onto the award. You need to do this by the end of October. Registration should be done in the walled garden. Your exams office or you should have a username and password to access the system. Once logged on, go to the catalogue, select the catalogue again from the second navigation bar, and then select City and Guilds. You now need to select the qualification you are registering the learners on, using the qualification code or title. So in this case it would be the 429220 or Level 2 Technical Award in Automotive. Click on the green bar to place the order and then select Named Registrations. You can now add the learner details required for registration. So that would be the first name, last name, date of birth and gender. Once you have added your learners, click Add to Basket. Then click on Confirm to complete the order, which completes the registration process. We do provide a number of guidance documents. The link shows you where you can access further details on using the walled garden. Okay, let's look at support and resources. The link shown at the bottom of this slide will take you to the generic technical resource and support page. We would encourage all centres delivering technical qualifications to read through the documents provided, as they are aimed to help you plan your delivery and help you understand the assessment methodology of the technical. Using the Teaching, Learning and Assessment Guide will help you understand how the assessment is marked, providing guidance for the area carried out in the centre and the overall moderation process in the Marking and Moderation Guide. There is a welcome pack to take you through setting up for working with City and Guilds and its technical qualifications, and most importantly the exam timetable that provides dates for booking exams, synoptic projects and when they will take place. In addition to generic resources like the Technical Awards, information for new centres, we also have materials more specific to the qualification being run on its own web page. When going onto the City and Guilds website, use the search box and put 4292 and then select the 429220 programme from the list of options provided. Once on the web page, click on the Documents tab where you will find a block for Level 2 and Level 3 qualifications. Under the Level 2 block you will find the Qualification Handbook, a general report about the qualification, as well as the Chief Examiner and Principal Moderator reports. These will show you common mistakes that may have been made and provide guidance on best practice. We also provide sample assignments and sample question papers, as well as now having a number of past assessments used in previous exam periods. When available, the live synoptic project will be found here. It will be password protected so that only tutors have access to it. We also provide an exam guide that shows typical types of questions and some expectation of the way they should be answered, as well as guidance on preparing your learners for the assessment that includes use of command verbs in our tests.
Before we look at some of the delivery models, I think we just need to look at some of the considerations when delivering the technical award, because it will require a holistic approach. That means the full syllabus will need to be taught just the same as in all GCSE exams, where you would teach the whole specification. Exams and tasks are then set from the content in the specification. The main difference is that they are not unitised and not unit assessed. The only evidence that we require is the end test and synoptic assignment, and City and Guilds provide both of these assessments to you. There may be additional evidence that your centres may require in line with the Common Inspection Framework, for example, some formative marking, ongoing tests, and evidence of tracking your progress. The next two slides, we're going to look at some examples of 1- and 2-year delivery programmes. So this slide looks at a possible delivery model over one academic year. So to give you an idea of what that could look like, the idea would be that you would begin your delivery in September, at the beginning of the autumn term, and that would include your induction to the technical award. You would then deliver all of the knowledge, including the practical skills if they're required, until February in the spring term. The synoptic assignment and controlled assessment will be released to centres for tutors in the autumn term in September. And this is to allow the centres to prepare for the assessment and allow for the resources that may be required to deliver this assignment. You would then register your learners for the end test in the first exam window. The dates are on the website, and the first exam series are in February and March. When your learners sit the first exam, the results of that end test will be submitted to your centre by the end of May. That then allows the centre sufficient time to re-enter learners for the theory exam in the second series if you wish to have a resit or those learners need to improve their marks. The second sitting in May or June, the results of that will be released to the centre in August alongside the remaining of the GCSE qualifications for that year for other exam boards. So just to clarify, please be aware that there is no opportunity for a resit for the synoptic assignment in the same academic year. This slide looks at what a 2-year delivery programme could look like. So it's a sample really showing you how to plan your delivery over 2 years. And this is just a suggestion because each centre will have their own models and have their own timetabling. So year 1, you could focus on the delivery of the syllabus. And you could maybe enter your learners for the June or the May-June exam series at the end of year 1. So there's been something to work towards for the whole of that academic year. Then the results of that second exam series in May and June, you will have the results of that in August alongside all other exam boards qualifications for GCSEs, etc. That means when your learners come back and start the second year in September, you then register the synoptic assessment, and that is released to tutors in September of that year. You can then prepare your learners for that synoptic assignment in the February and March in the second year, having had all that knowledge delivered in the first year as well. Now, centres will be able to release their synoptic assignment to learners in February. Now, in this year, the date was February the 4th when synoptic assignments went live. This date will be altered every year and will be available on the website. So all the evidence for the synoptic assessment must be submitted in May, and the date again will be on the website. This year it is May the 17th. So with a 2-year delivery, if you have any learners that took the exam in the first year in May and June and were either not successful or you want to improve their grade, you can see in the second year there are other exam opportunities, either in the first exam series, which is February and March, for any retakes, or you may want to wait for those learners to take the exam later on in the year, which will be the May-June series. Again, the results will be coming into you in August for the May-June series and May for the February-March series. I think it's really important at this point to point out that there is only one chance for a resit. So you can take the exam and have one of those resits. So this does not mean there is three times you can actually sit the exam. It's one exam and one resit in those windows. But as you can see, there is complete flexibility with your delivery models over a 2 and even a 3 year in some case program. We have an excellent exam guide document which is available on our website. This provides lots of valuable information on how to teach your learners the exam vocabulary and the types of answers that will be required by each command verb. You will see some examples on the graphic here, where we're looking at the words list, label and state that possibly would require more short word answer tests, more short word answers rather than the longer in-depth, such as analyse, compare and evaluate. This guide is critical for the success of the theory exam, and as I say, it's the first document really to prepare your learners in how to sit their first theory test.
This slide shows you the key windows and time frame in the academic year for important administrative tasks. Remember to only book the exams and assessments in the academic year learners will be actually sitting the exams. Now let's look at some guidance around assessment. This slide is a reminder that you can deliver the KS4 Technical Award in 1, 2 or 3 academic years in years 9, 10 and 11. The learners will need to pass both the theory and synoptic assignment. You can select when the learners take their theory exam and synoptic assignment. City and Guilds has developed its technical qualifications to have only 2 assessments, reducing the assessment and marking burden on centres, allowing more time for teaching and development of the learners. There is a synoptic practical assignment that will look to assess the range of skills and knowledge developed from the programme, and an externally set exam. As you can see on the slide, the synoptic practical assignment contributes to 60% of the overall grade, and the theory exam contributes to 40% of the overall grade. Let's look at the units in a bit more detail, starting with 220. So 220, Underpinning Principles in Vehicle Technology. This unit is all about developing an understanding of how math and science are used in vehicle technology. So that supports the core curriculum as per Ofsted requirements. It's also linked to power units, braking, suspension and steering. And there's also an introduction to materials used in vehicles, electrical principles and components and circuit testing. Unit 221 is about introducing the learner to the various types of vehicle transmissions, drivetrain layouts and power units, allowing them to understand the underlying operating principles. We want you to teach the students to learn why different layouts and systems are used for braking, suspension and steering system components on a range of vehicle types. So what that means is we want you to introduce not just light vehicle but also discuss heavy vehicle and motorcycle adaptations to the various systems. This slide shows more detail of the theory exam. Here you can see the percentage weighting of each exam component. The number of marks allocated are also shown. You can also see the booking codes where you can choose either a paper or electronic version for your learners. Overall, there is a maximum of 60 marks obtainable from the exam, and we provide you with guidance on how many marks come from each unit so that you can see where the emphasis lies. Again, we urge you to read through the exam guide found on the qualifications webpage to help you prepare your learners appropriately. The image and the links here show you how to find the guide from our website. Okay, let's look at the synoptic assignment. It will test their ability to research and analyse information, as well as make use of their knowledge and practical skills that they have developed. While the centre will mark the assignment, it will go through a moderation process to check quality and standardisation of marking. The assignment can be completed any time during the 12-week window, but it must be the learner's individual work. Remember, the assignment contributes to 60% of the overall grade. Some further details about the synoptic assignment. There will be some report document writing involved, though the learner will mostly face practical challenges. Here we have an example of the synoptic assignment tasks which a learner would need to complete. As you can see, the assignment is made up of 3 tasks. The synoptic tasks are changed each academic year. The work should be carried out by the learner alone, and no intervention can be carried out by a tutor for an individual learner. During training sessions in the workshop, tutors may run generic mock guidance sessions, but these should be limited to ways of working rather than sharing specifics from the set assignment. In the design of the synoptic tasks, we have allowed for prep work, planning time, as well as undertaking the specific tasks. It is important to understand the assessment objectives and how they are related to this specific qualification. Here you will see the typical types of evidence that we would expect to be covered during the assignment. We have also provided weightings for each objective to show the importance of each. Okay, let's have a look at marking the synoptic assignment. I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Alison for this section of the presentation.
Okay, so just to look at some of the other responsibilities that as a tutor you have for marking the synoptic assignment, you'll see there is an URL link there that links you again to some YouTube videos which are really handy to look at how to mark and give you some marking in some great detail. But overall, tutors need to make sure that you have read the marking and moderation guide. You need to comment on the paperwork we provide on the quality of work produced, and you only need to allocate marks, not grades, against each of the assessment objectives. The total marks for each learner are out of a possible 60 marks. You will then submit the marks for your whole cohort. Now, to submit the learner's evidence in the sample, this will depend on your size of the cohort that you deliver to. So, for example, if you have 12 learners or less, we will want to see all 12 learners or all of those marks for those learners if it's the 12 or less. We'd ask you to include a sample for the range of the highest marked learner, the lowest marked learner, and a range somewhere in between. If you have 13 to 100 learners, we would require a sample size of 12. Again, a range from the highest to the lowest and a range in between. If you have between 101 and 200 learners, we require a sample size of 15. Again, the highest, the lowest and the range in between. And exactly the same for more than 200 learners, the sample size is a maximum of 20, showing a range of learners as well. What is important is that all of the evidence must be uploaded and it must be collated in a logical order and named with the relevant tasks involved. For example, if there are 3 tasks involved in your synoptic assignment, they should be clearly labelled Task 1, Task 2 and Task 3. There is further guidance and information on the marking and moderation portal, and there is a range of resources to support you on our website. Just to clarify, this is not visiting moderation. So there will be no visiting moderator. You will just need to submit the marks for your learners. And you will mark the whole of your learners and only submit the sample size on the moderation portal. So just to look at some of the information on the slide, again looking at tutors' responsibilities for marking a synoptic assignment. It is important to think that learners do not have to complete the assignment in one day. So if you have a 4 or 3 hour half-day session with your learners and the assignment tasks are say 15 to 20 hours, that can be 3 consecutive delivery days that you can then carry out your assignment. You need to plan the schedule for the synoptic according to the volume of learners, your timetabling, the physical resources you have available and the tutors that are available for that. The assignments are internally marked by your tutors, but you must use the following forms that City and Guilds provide. That is your candidate record form. You also need to submit evidence to show that your centre has standardised the work exactly the same as you would for internal quality assurance, if there is more than 1 marker. We also need a declaration of authenticity form. Should you have a personal interest or you actually know one of your candidates, that must also be declared on the personal interest form, and the practical observation form that must be submitted alongside all of this evidence. So all of these forms will be found under section 3 on the website. Again, there is a link to where you can find this information. As we said, a different assignment is provided each year, but the evidence produced will be internally marked using exactly the same marking grid each year with the same weightings in your assessment objectives to support comparability across the versions.
Once the work is completed, you will need to upload the evidence to the City and Guilds moderation portal. Please note, we do not need every learner's work. The Marking and Moderation Guide provides guidance on what is required and how big a sample should be uploaded. Moderation is done remotely, so there is no requirement for centre visits for this qualification. The moderation process has 3 possible outcomes. We accept your marking decision. If we do, then there can be no challenge to the grading that is based on your marks for the learner. Adjusted marks. This is where we feel you have marked harshly or leniently. And then finally, it could be subject to a full remark, and the moderator mark is to be used. Centres are provided not just with the decision, but feedback on their marking, along with confirmation of all of the above.
So the next few slides are really about how technical awards are graded and their sort of relationship with performance tables and GCSEs. So assessment and grading. The results of the theory exam and synoptic assignment and overall grade are made available to centres on the walled garden. The overall qualification grade will be calculated based on the aggregation of points that are awarded for the learner's achievements from the theory exam and the synoptic assessment, and these are then converted into grades. The technical awards are graded as fail, pass, merit, distinction, and distinction star is taken midway from the top 10% of learners achieving a distinction. Both assessments, which means the exam and the synoptic assignment, must be achieved at a minimum of a pass before the qualification can be awarded. Unfortunately, there are no compensatory methods allowed, so therefore you have to pass both the theory exam and the synoptic assignment to achieve the qualification. There is no set pass mark published in advance, as this is decided by an expert panel using an awarding process, although you will be able to look at the grade pass boundaries from the previous year, which give an indication of what the pass boundaries would be for this qualification. The contribution of assessments towards the overall grade is set out in each of the qualification handbooks. This slide shows the points awarded against a GCSE qualification. You will see that the Technical Award only has 4 possible grades instead of a GCSE, which now has 9 possible grades. All Technical Awards are set at level 2, which is equivalent to GCSE pass grades of 4 to 9 only. So, for example, Distinction Star on your performance tables will be worth 8.5 points. A distinction is worth 7 points, a merit is worth 5.5 points, and a pass is worth 4 points. Ofqual may adjust or alter these grades in line with any alterations to GCSE grading, or where a formula may be applied to allocate the percentage of learners who can be awarded a distinction star. So just to explain this slide, discounting codes apply where a qualification is considered to have significant overlap in content to another qualification. In this case, a discount code may be applied. This means that although the learner can achieve both qualifications and be awarded certificates for similar qualifications, only one of these qualifications will count in your school's or college's performance tables. There is a link to this document showing all the discount codes, which is available on the Department for Education website and is uploaded and changed yearly. This slide provides links to all of the relevant DFE documents required for information on Progress 8 and performance points. You will see there that all City and Guilds Technical Awards will count in the Key Stage 4 performance tables from 2018 onwards, and this includes the 2020 performance tables. So this next section is where to find the resource and supports available to you. This slide shows you a screenshot of where you can find all these resources. They are all free to download and provide information to help with your delivery, teaching and assessments. There is a dedicated section for Key Stage 4, as you will see on the right side of your screen, and resources and support available for teaching and learning, curriculum plans, help with Maths and English support, and all of your online teaching and support resources.
This slide is a reminder of how and where to find the various support resources for this qualification, including past papers, sample synoptics and examiner reports. These are all very useful during preparation for delivery. For extra help, remember we have our moderation support team, and here are the details where the support team can be contacted. Finally, here are my contact details for any technical support. I hope you found this webinar useful, and we wish you and your students success. Thank you for listening.